Greetings, 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 peace, love, harmony, and light. What the deal is, this is Chief Kalanago with a video. All right, I'm just going to drop some information for y'all. And as you could see, the name of the title, all right, Cash App Fraud Alert. Okay, I'm just putting everybody on because, you got to be on point. In this day and age, man, this digital age, you have to be very mindful, and a lot of unsuspecting people become victims of fraud. All right. Especially, people who are not, quick on their feet, when it comes to technology, and elders as well. You know what I'm saying? So I felt the need to do this video to talk about that, and also kind of like go to the bottom line of doing this video, because for me it's always about the bottom line, right? So I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence. Want to give thanks to my ancestors, each and every one of them who came before me, and that I acknowledge them, I honor them, know that they are me and I am them, and I continuously ask them for guidance and protection and just discernment, to do what I do. All right, so here we go, right? Lately, it seems that a lot of people, including myself, have been having a lot of issues with Cash App, whether it may be, sending money, receiving money, and also you may experience going through a process of what's called a verification process, where you have to send your ID, and sometimes they don't even acknowledge that. And to me, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. And so for me, this is just the beginning of, again, the bottom line. So let me give you an experience that, one of my peoples had earlier. I would say about 5 weeks ago, or 5 to 6 weeks ago, she made a transaction via Cash App, okay, where someone, I think, sent her 500, or she sent someone 500. In fact, someone sent her 500, and then she didn't receive it. Now it showed that the transaction was complete, but that $500, I think it was not 500, it was $520. $520. That $520 never showed up in her account. So doing all this research online, trying to get in Cash App, for one, that's a problem. That's a suspect to me, because for Cash App, there's no customer service. You can't talk to anybody. If you do get a number to call, then they have this automated machine or service that redirect you back to the website. So literally, you have no access to anyone in case your funds are taken, or whether they say misplaced, or whatever the situation is. So long story short, what we did was we sent in a certified mail letter. Now what we did, we found that by doing some research now, okay, by doing some research, we found out that Cash App is also ran by Square Inc. And not just that, Square Inc. is also attached to Lincoln Bank that provides the Cash App card. You feel what I'm saying? It says the mic is going in and out. The mic is going. Can you guys hear me? Well, let me know if you guys could hear me. Please, if you could hear me just fine, go ahead and type in 1. I'm not sure why I'm breaking up though. Okay, so Quinn just said I sound just fine. So Brother Amaru, you may have to check your your settings, but for the most part, okay, so everybody says they're hearing me just fine. I appreciate you guys' feedback. Thank you. All right. So once again, like I said, you have to be very mindful, because for one, Cash App doesn't have any customer service. Like, you could call a bank, right? And you could get customer service. Hold on for 1 second, guys. Okay, so with Cash App, there's no customer service. Like you could actually talk to somebody. To me, that's a problem. And I'll tell you, once I'm done talking to you, I'll tell you some of the problems that people should be seeing. And the reason why I do what I do, because I tell folks what I do is for a bigger picture, because I have vision. You feel me? I have vision. But anyway, we did some research and we found out that Cash App is ran by Square Inc. and that the bank that's connected with Cash App it's powered by Lincoln. So unbeknownst to yourself, you subscribe to the terms and conditions of Lincoln Bank and not Cash App. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we do things and we don't look at the fine prints. So what we did was we sent in a certified letter to Square Inc., all right, with return receipt. And it was shown that they received it. All right. So that in itself is part of the legal process. Okay. Because with a legal process, all right, you have, of course, you have three parts to that. It's called the administrative process. So first, you're going to send them a notice letting them know that something is wrong, right? Something is not right. This is what happened. A wrong was done to me. And if they haven't responded, then a second notice will go out, right? And then the third one would be a default. Now you could bring in a lawsuit. I'm saying all that to say is a lot of people become victims because they don't know what to do or where to turn. You feel me? So going back to Cash App, a brother was trying to do a Cash App, a Cash App transaction. Okay. So I told him about the situation. He told me he called Cash App and he got a number to speak to them. Now I knew that was something. For one, that was an automatic red flag to me because I have done extensive research for a number for Cash App, and there's a number, but you can't speak to anybody. But when he told me he spoke to somebody, customer service, that was a red flag. So when we called the number, and going through a process, they answered the phone pretending to be Cash App, right? Everything that they have set up where they say, okay, you know what, go into your Cash App, do this, and they give instructions. And they gave an app to download an app so that they're able to get into your Cash App and see what the problem is, to see if they could rectify the situation and refund the $520. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm back. The whole live just cut off. Okay, so whatever is going on, man, I'm just so fed up to the point where I don't even know what to say sometimes. I'm just so fed up to the point where I just wish people in general could wake up and see what's going on. That your life is being controlled by machines, and people don't seem to see a problem with that. You feel me? Now let me know if you guys can hear me, please. I know they just cut me off and I just came back on. If you could hear me, go ahead and type 2, please. Because this thing is so energy draining. Y'all have no idea, man. If you could hear me, please go ahead and type 2. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So I'm telling y'all 2 stories that's connected, right? So the $520 situation, it just disappears. It just disappeared out of thin air. So it showed that the transaction was complete, but the money was never sent to the bank account. So long story short, like I said, we did all this research, try to get to Cash App, whatever. We found that it was owned by Square Inc. We found the address. It's a California address, right? So we We sent a certified letter with return receipt, and it showed that they received it. Okay, so now we are just waiting and giving them some time to respond. But now today, okay, a brother that was trying to do a transaction, he told me that he spoke to somebody. Now, to me, that was a red flag because I know there's nobody to talk to when it comes to Cash App. So I asked him for the number. He gave me the number, and I called the number. Okay, somebody picked up on the first ring. Now that alone in itself, again, to me was a red flag. It was a high alert, a fraud. So I was already on alert. Okay, so trying to rectify the situation, they instructed to go ahead into the app store and download this app so that they could get remote control into the phone. You see what I'm saying? Did all that. Now they have access and they're saying, well, go to this here in Cash App and do this, go to your settings and do this and do that. Now here comes the real test. They're saying, well, seeing that you lost $520, what we are going to do with Cash App is we are going to give you an extra $20 for your troubles. So instead of refunding the $520, they're going to give you $540. Okay, fine, cool, whatever, right? But then they said, well, for this to really go through, what we have to do is to test to see if the accounts are linked up. We have to have you go to your Cash App, keep it open. Now, remember, they got remote control. Okay, they got remote control. So they're seeing everything and they're seeing your phone. So they said, go ahead and type in $968, no, $998. $998 and go ahead and hit add and then send, right? So went ahead and did that. But then it didn't go through because that amount of money wasn't in the account. So now they was like, go ahead and try another amount. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm telling my friend, nah, listen, that is suspicious. Don't do that. You see what I'm saying? But still going ahead with the process, right? Long story short, I got on the phone after the back and forth and thing wasn't going through. I said, first of all, what is your name? All right. And what is your agent number? What is the address? And they gave the correct address for Square Inc. because that's the address that we sent in that letter. All right. So they gave that address. Okay. All that was correct, except that, again, it was something in the gut that was saying, nah, this is not right. Okay, this something ain't right. But what they were doing is they were asking to try different amounts to see what would go through because they prompted, okay, us to go through the app and change de-link, because remember your bank account is linked. So they said to go ahead and de-link the account and go ahead and put it in again. So we put in the card information again, and they're asking you to put in your card number, your security card code and everything. Now, mind you, they're seeing all that stuff but you're still thinking it's Cash App because all the responses that's coming is coming from Cash App. Okay. So when all that happened, I was like, you know what now? When I started asking them all these questions and I realized they were hesitating to ask and they were getting a little bit, aggravated. Well, sir, just go ahead and do it. Just put the amount because what we are doing. So I'm like, check this out. Right? What we gonna do? Why don't we put the amount for $5? They was like, no, the amount got to be for such is the computer that's generating the amount. We can't do that. So once again, like I said, that was just a red flag. Long story short, I tell them, I'm not gonna do that, and I hung up the phone. And we called the bank and had the bank. As a matter of fact, check this out. So they asked for the lower amounts that they asked was 200, 168, and a small amount. Guess what? When you call the bank, that transaction had already taken place without Cash App. So that amount was taken out of the bank, all right, but it showed pending. So called the bank and got to fraud alert for the bank and fraud resolution and canceled and changed the card number and all that stuff. The point I'm making is this, right? Something has to be done. Too many people are losing money, you see what I'm saying, through Cash App. And then there's nobody to talk to, and people just have to sit back and accept that. But I'm telling you, you don't have to. You don't have to. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you don't use Cash App. You feel that's not what I'm saying. All I'm just saying is when you have a situation, especially when they're asking you to verify your identity, to send in your driver's license and all that stuff, be very mindful of that. Asking you for your bank information, be mindful of that. Be very careful, because people who don't know and they're not really keen to what's going on, their bank account will be wiped out. So be mindful of that. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Like I said, just did, and somebody said, who cares? Just pay or face pay, whatever that is. The point I'm making is I have done the administrative process and it's very effective. So trust me, I'm good with that. You feel what I'm saying? So anyway, let us go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Share my screen here. Okay. Let me just get to my phone real quick. And let me go to, let me just make sure I'm seeing what you guys are seeing. All right. Give me a second here for a second. I know, give me a second here for a second, man. I'm all over the place. All right. Then I give, okay, here we go. All right. So the truth of the matter is this, right? No one has any type of proof that is Cash App asking you to verify your identity. And that's the problem. You see, the system is in place where they want to control you. You know what I mean? And you have to verify who you are, but they don't verify who they are. You see what I'm saying? And these things are happening because people are not holding these people accountable. You are not holding these people accountable. So therefore, Cash App, okay, asking you to identify who you are. So Cash App is one, being run by the Square Inc. That's another company that's running Cash App. But then with the card, the bank is Lincoln Saving Banks. So what these organizations do is this, right? They have shell companies, what they call DBAs. So you will never get in touch with the person who owns the app. You will never get in touch with the person who owns that medium of doing transaction. Because before you get to them, they have 6 different DBAs doing business as. A DBA is called doing business as, so that they are not held liable. But guess what? If you want to do the same thing, they don't want you to do it because they think you are doing fraud. And that's why I do what I do, because I want people to see that we could create our own system. But a lot of people are not getting it, man. People think I'm just doing what I do because I love to talk. No, I'm a visionary. You feel me? And I just don't want us to be under these people's control, period. And when I say people, everybody want to equate that with pale people or white people. No, the system is not owned by white people. Stop blaming white people for your situations. The system is just a system. The system has no color. There are people that run the system that's darker than me and you. In fact, the people who run the world, they are a whole lot darker than me and you. So once again, stop getting into your emotions and starting to blame things on other ethnic group when the truth of the matter is just business. That's why a lot of you get caught up, because you're in your emotions. You want to blame everything on the pale man. Take responsibility. So don't come on this platform talking about, oh, the pale man this and the white man this. That's the wrong platform for that. Period. Isn't the Black Caucus supposed to be, standing up for y'all black people? Why aren't y'all talking about them? The point I'm making is this has nothing to do with the color of skin. It is just business, and the people who are running the business are not honorable. So what they do is they create all these DBAs. And I'll tell you how I know they don't want you to do the same thing, because we had a situation in Jersey, okay, where we created a DBA, all right, to open up a business and all of a sudden the county clerk is telling us, oh, well, you can't do a DBA. What do you mean I can't do a DBA? So the moral of the story is, apart from the Cash App fraud that I'm warning you guys about, I'm letting you know that the system, we as a people, just people in general, this is about the have and the have-nots. And we, the people, have the right to create our own if the systems that are put in place is not working the way they're supposed to work to, including the government. Period. So all I'm just saying is this: with this Cash App situation, I'm glad it happened today. Why? Because other people may be going through the same situation, and other people may go through the situation. So that's why I'm doing the video, to put you on alert. I'm not saying don't use your Cash App. I'm just saying if there's a discrepancy in a transaction, whether you were sending it or you are on the receiving end, and they're asking you to verify your identity, or they want you to send your ID and all these type of things, but you don't know who they are, don't do it. Especially if they want your bank account information and they're asking you to put in your PIN for your Cash App. Cash App should never ask you for your PIN unless you truly know it's them. But how can you tell? How can you tell if this is a program and app in your phone that you're supposed to trust the company that everybody else is using? So all I'm just saying is, don't become a victim. Be very mindful of that. But how do we rectify these situations? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? My thing is, how do you rectify the situation? By holding Cash App accountable. Because there is no reason a company is supposed to have a company dealing with so many people and so many people's so much money. Okay, people's money, that you cannot get in touch with customer service. To me, that's a red flag. Okay, so I'm going to give you a solution. Because you see, I'm not just about talking about the problems. I am talking about solutions. You feel me? That's why I love to talk about solutions. You see, many people talk about the problems and they leave you high and dry. No. On this platform, American Aboriginal Son, it's all about solutions, because I'm solution-based. That's why I do my own research. I do my own due diligence and don't wait for people to tell me things. And I'm asking you to do the same thing. Do your own research. Do your own due diligence. You feel me? So, for those of you who don't know, the FTC is the Federal Trade Commission. And the Federal Trade Commission deals with the protection of consumers. Now, I don't like the fact that we are called consumers, but I always tell people consumers get consumed. That's why I don't call myself a consumer. But within the commercial realm, when you are doing business with businesses, you are a consumer. Okay? Because you are using their services. But there are guidelines in place to protect the consumers. Even with the police department, they are providing a service. The police department is a private business. You feel me? The police department is a private business. They have a hired charter. They have a charter that they were hired, okay, by the state. They were hired by towns and counties and municipalities. They are all privately owned. So therefore, as a consumer, that these businesses are supposed to provide a service to you, you could report them to the Federal Trade Commission. Whether it may be for identity theft, because if they use your social security, like take for instance, you get pulled over and you think that, you know what, it was unjustified or whatever the reason is, and they want to pull up your social, guess what? that's considered to be theft, fraud. And you could report that to the FTC. So the point I'm making is you have to know how to protect yourself. So the Federal Trade Commission is for that purpose. And every consumer has a right to a FOIA. What's a FOIA? Freedom of Information Act, where you have a right as a consumer, okay, to ask and get all the records on every business, including courts, the clerk office, the police department, anyone, the judge and everybody. You have every single right to get what's called or do what's called a FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act. Now, they have stipulations in place where they say, oh, well, if you have a felony, you cannot do that. You see, that's what they do. They make sure that you have a felony or you have some type of record, so you are not able to do a what's called a FOIA. Because they say, oh, they might say, well, you know, you want to do a FOIA just because you want to harm somebody. You see, the system is crazy, man. And that rabbit hole is deeper than what people think it is. So this is how you could solve that situation with Cash App. You call the FTC or write the FTC, get in touch with the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, and do a complaint. Okay, complain that Cash App need to have customer service where you could talk to people directly because you don't know who you're dealing with. And too much fraud is happening using Cash App or going through the verification process. Now, a lot of you may not do it because you haven't been caught up. You want to wait until it happened to you. And that's the problem. People are not proactive. They want to wait until it happened to them and then they start crying, oh, this happened with Cash App. Well, I'm giving you how to solve the problem before it happened to you. It's easy. Google Federal Trade Commission contact. It's that simple, where it says what? Contact us. And you could also launch a complaint. All the information is there. I tell people there are solutions, but you have to know how to find the solution. Now it says, contact the Federal Trade Commission. If you have any questions or comment about an issue, please submit to the appropriate bureau by one of the methods below. To learn how we may use the information you provide, please read our privacy and policy. To help us serve you better, please include a date, time, and telephone number in your communication. The point I'm making is this, okay? These services are there to service you and you not service them. You feel me? Now, it says, in addition to our offices in DC, the FTC has 8 regional offices: Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle, that help to amplify our national impact and local presence and allow us to respond better to the diversity of the US marketplace. So I am giving you information, whether it may be the police department, whether it may be a bank, whether it may be, I don't care what it is. Okay? I don't care what it is. It may be for your mortgage and you feel that there was fraud. Okay? If you got arrested and it wasn't, you didn't have due process, or you were arrested, there wasn't probable cause, and you sent a letter to the police department, and then they're not giving you considerable, how would I put it? Let me see if I can rephrase that. They're not giving you an effective resolution. Then you could complain, make a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, because you are a small business. For those of you who don't know, that's why you are a citizen of a corporation. And that's what the Federal Trade Commission is there for, to make sure that that business, you, is ran efficiently as a consumer. Now, I know that might be tough for a lot of you to hear, but I'm just giving you the drop. I'm just giving you the information. So when they're dealing with your business, which is your all cap name, The Federal Trade Commission is the one that deals with all that in terms of complaints and, resolution. So all I'm just saying is for Cash App, what I would suggest, I can't tell you what to do. I would get in touch with the Federal Trade Commission and make a complaint, all right, that the Cash App business, okay, is encouraging fraud, okay, or because there is no customer service that somebody could talk to, people are being defrauded. So make a request that Cash App needs to have a customer service that people could talk to. I guarantee you, if at least 100 people do that, watch and see. The Cash App, the way they deal with their customers, is going to change. I guarantee you, if 100 people do that next week or today, I guarantee you they're going to change their policy. Mark my words. And I'm showing y'all how to get things done. The pen is mightier than the sword. Okay? I guarantee you right after this video, if 100 people get in touch with the FTC and make a complaint about Cash App, that there's no customer service that you could talk to, and because of that reason, okay, people are being defrauded, especially during the verification process, I guarantee you they're going to get in touch with Cash App, all right, because trust me, they know who the owners are, and they're going to let them change their policy. They have to have customer service that people could talk to. Every business has that. So why Cash App is exempt? For those of you who get what I'm saying, go ahead and please type 1, please, man. Because I hate to think that all the energy I'm putting in these things is a waste of time, which I don't think it is. You feel me? I don't think it is, but if this is valuable information and you are going to take a step, because like I said, they took the money, but the bank is going to replace it. The point I'm making is I don't want anybody else to go through that, because some people may not be fast on their feet to have enough discernment to call their bank immediately and shut down all transactions. You see, a lot of people are not that sharp, and it's not because they are stupid or no, it's just because they don't know. And there are a lot of people out there just waiting to take advantage of unsuspecting people. People work too hard for their money, man. People work too hard for their money. Imagine that, right? If it was the whole 900 and something dollars, right? And you had that amount in your account and you didn't think to yourself that you had to call your bank because something didn't tell you wasn't talking to Cash App. Guess what? You out of $1,000. And guess what they did? Because with Cash App, sometimes it might be a red flag to do over 1,000. So they did what? $998. There are professional scammers out there, people. So watch yourself. So all I'm just saying is this. I'm giving you the solutions. You have the information. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot use your Cash App. That's not what I'm saying, because I'm still using Cash App and my transactions are just fine. However, when there is a dispute, that's what I'm talking about. Meaning that you were receiving cash and it didn't register into your bank account, or you sent cash and the person didn't get it. And now you have to go to the customer resolution, and they're asking you to verify your information. And now they're asking you all these personal questions, and they want to get into your phone and do all that, ask for your bank information. Don't do it. Don't do it, period. But this is how we deal with the situation, by making sure that Cash App has a customer service that you could talk to. Somebody you could pick up and verify. Okay, you could hear somebody's voice that will give you an agent number and you know that it's Cash App. This is how you deal with this situation, because for some reason nobody could get in touch with Cash App. Nobody. Yes, you call, but you get an automated voice teleprompter telling you what to do, but you still can't talk to nobody. And since Cash App was set up, it has always been that way. It's time to change it. It is time to change it. And like I said, the pen is mightier than the sword, because I know me, myself, by myself alone, I have called FTA. Okay, I have called FTA when I was traveling on my indigenous ID. And when I called the lady, okay, I wanted to know what provisions they had in place for when American Indians travel with their indigenous ID. And the lady hung up the phone. You feel what I'm saying? The lady hung up the phone and she was rude. But I called back, because for me, when I call these people, I record my conversations. The same thing that they do, because remember, to me, they are consumers as well. So I know that I'm running a business. I let them know that this call is being recorded or may be recorded for quality and training purposes. So because I told the lady that at the FTA, she hung up the phone. Oh, yo, sir, you can't record our call. But I said, man, you're recording my conversation. I have a business. My business have a right to do the same thing. She hung up the phone. I called back and I asked to speak to the supervisor. And I told the supervisor what happened. And I have a business, and my business have a right to record the conversation for quality and training purposes, just like yours. And they was like, well, what's the situation? I said, well, I'm traveling with my indigenous ID, and I'm just calling to notify you. And they took my information, blah, 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 and they came back and said, sir, it's not a problem. I said, I know it's not a problem. I'm just calling to notify you so when I get to the airport, there wouldn't be any problems. And guess what? That happened in 2017, in December. They sent me a letter via email, and I still got the proof, because I tell people I do things that a lot of people ain't even doing or haven't even done. But I just don't brag and talk about it. And as of December 17th, 2017, December 17th or December 18th, they sent me an email and they said, Chief Kalanago, thank you for, calling the FTA, blah, 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 blah. Just because of your call, we have resolved this situation, okay, to deal with people that call and that have had the issue, and it was dealt with. That issue was handled, and it will never happen again. And as a matter of fact, yes, you are able to travel. You should be able to travel with your indigenous ID. And guess what? I traveled with my indigenous ID. Like I told y'all before, Chief Kalanago is doing things people don't even know about. But I changed that by myself. One man made that change. Okay, one man made that change. I bought my ticket and I traveled as Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle. You feel me? Now, I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying this to impress you. If one man could do that, change that whole policy with the FTA, just imagine what 100 people could do, 10 people could do, 200 people could. Yeah, trust me, man. The power is with the people. That's why I keep telling you, the pen is mightier than the sword. All this running around and protesting in the streets, that don't mean nothing. Start writing letters. That's how you make that change, because you are dealing with businesses. So I'm saying all that to say, this is how you deal with the Cash App situation and many other situations. Don't just let this be another video that Chief Kalanago is doing. No, I want to feel that the work that I'm doing, it's an impact. It's affecting everybody in a positive way. And I'm encouraging each and every one of you who come across this video to get in touch with the FTC and let them know that Cash App is a requirement of the people, that the people is demanding that Cash App have a customer service that people could call and speak to. Because that cannot happen, a lot of people are being defrauded. Trust me, if enough people do that, that policy will change. And what is today's date? I don't even know what today's date is, but let me tell you, today's the what? The 25th? Today's the 25th of July. If everybody who listens to this call or hear this call do that, I guarantee you today's a day you're going to remember that we made a change. Because it's going to happen. You want results? I'm showing you how to get results. You feel me? Which brings me to my next point. As indigenous people, we have a right to create our own. But you see, I keep talking to people about all these things. All I'm just saying, for me, I just want to link up with the right minds, man. Because I don't want to be talking to, the knob of a door. I want to talk to people who have the vision. You see me, I already see our own airlines. I already see our own airports. That's how far ahead I'm thinking. But I need people to catch up. So I'm throwing some tomatoes out there. I'm throwing tomatoes because I want people to catch up. There's no reason why we as indigenous people, we cannot have a system. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be people that's going to try to, what you call defraud the system. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that have our own banks. Why not? As indigenous people, we have a right to have our own systems, because this system is always asking you to verify who you are, prove who you are. No, well, my question is, who are you? Aren't you tired of proving yourself? Oh, you need a real ID. What is a real ID? Come on, man. Folks, all you have to do is open up your mind, man. Open up your mind and see where I'm showing you. See the light. That's all I'm just saying. Nobody could prevent us on our land to do and set up our own. Nobody could stop that. Because once again, every other ethnic group have their own. It doesn't mean that we're going to stop doing business with other ethnic groups. It doesn't mean that. But we have to be in control of our own. We have to be in control of our own. And that's just all I'm saying. But how do you start that? You start that with groups coming together, working together. People always talking. Like I tell people, being broke is not going to help you build anything. So I will always keep telling you, anybody that's out there telling you you don't need money to do jack and this and that, all you need is go to the land, they're selling you an illusion. You feel me? They are selling you an illusion, man. I suggest we get as much money as possible. The only thing is what we do with it. Build that wealth. That's how we're going to build back. To compete in this world, to do commerce, you got to have wealth. You got to build your business. That's how we get in control of our own affairs. We don't have to control anybody else's. Control our own affairs. It's that simple. So now we are on the end where we are asking them to verify themselves, those other businesses. Who are you? But when you're always the one who have to prove who you are, that means you're always at a disadvantage. Because if Cash App decide, you know what, we don't want you to use our stuff, then what's going to happen? Stop being at the mercy of the system, man. So here you are. I'm not sure. I know I was all over the place. So I hope you get a little bit of something from what I just said. Okay? You have the solution. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be with Cash App. It could be with the courts. It could be with the clerk of court. It could be with anything. You feel me? Anything where anyone is providing you a service, that means that you are a consumer. That means you have a right to call the FTC and put in a formal complaint. And if more than one person does it and a group of people does it, trust me, or they do it, then you will start seeing some changes. Mark my words, July 25th, 2020. If everybody do what they're supposed to do with this right here, let's just prove me wrong. Please Just prove me wrong. Let us do the Cash App policy changing test or challenge. This is one of my first challenges. It's called the Cash App policy change. What they call it, challenge. And I guarantee you, if everybody who hear this call the FTC and make a formal complaint and demand that Cash App must have a customer service base that talk to people, I guarantee you in less than a month that's going to change. In less than 30 days that's going to change. And that's the challenge that I leave out there. Again, once again, I gave you the solution. It's literally up to you. Okay, so I'm about to conclude this video, and I will continue to move forward and open up people's minds and let you know that we have to create something. All right, not just anything, but let me ask you a question. Where are all our tech people? And that's what happened when we only teach our children to be basketball players and football players and to be, and to just, be. And I'm not knocking people who are those things. I'm not knocking that. But where are our tech people? Huh? Where are our IT people? Huh? Where are our people that could create our own apps? Where are our people that could create our own cash apps, our own Venmo, our own PayPals? Where are the people that will come together and create our own banks? Where is the system that we creating that we could, as indigenous people, learn to do business as who we are as indigenous people? Of course, there have to be a verification process, because we don't want people just coming and just be, well, you know what, my name is Timber Wolf, and leave it as that. No, we have to know who you are. But at the same time, we're not going to prevent you from doing business as your indigenous self, because we still have to avoid the fraud. Because for the most times, a lot of the fraud came from people that you know. So the point I'm making is we could still have our process. You feel me? We could still have our process and our own system, but we will have our own verification process. And that's how you win yourself off the system. Everybody's calling me, well, Chief, you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Somebody said, I don't agree with that, brother. Land allow us to sustainable family. I never said get out the land, man. Stop misconstruing what I'm saying, bro. You know what I mean? By all means, we need to grow our own food, so we need land for that. I'm talking about you have to have a financial base to compete in the world. We are not living in the days of our ancient ancestors anymore, where we are just walking around in the wilderness half naked. We ain't doing that no more. Because we are advancing, okay? We are stepping into a higher realm. And that's what the dimensions are about. So I'm not saying get off the land. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, own land. Of course. Grow our own food. All I'm just saying is we need to have our own institutions on our own land. And to have that, you have to have the wealth to make that happen. That's what I'm talking about. The same way Bank of America, the same way Chase Bank, the same way that all these banks, they have on the land. They have Bank of America in a location. We could have our own banks in our location, in or on our land that's designated to us. That's what I'm saying. Whether you deal with cryptocurrency or not, there are going to be banks that's dealing with cryptocurrency. So I'm asking, why can't we create our own? And I'm talking about creating it on our own land, meaning that we have 200, 300, 400, 500 acres, and we have our own crypto bank. We have the same thing like what Akon did. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not saying get off the land. I'm not saying don't utilize the land. That would be asinine. Why would I even say that when I encourage people to grow their own food? I'm talking about having control, meaning that if we are going to have banks, have it on our land and not somewhere that we are leasing. or somewhere where we have to pay taxes on something that's ours. That's what I'm talking about. How about having, I already thought about it, American Aboriginal Airline. You see, that's stuff I've been thinking about 7, 8 years ago. So all I'm just saying is, it's not impossible. You just got to have the vision and enough people that's going to come together to make this thing happen. Now, it doesn't mean other ethnic groups cannot support it. It doesn't mean that. All I'm just saying is we have to control it. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? But there are many ways, again, to build wealth. Many, many, many ways to build wealth. But after you have built the wealth, or you have that money coming in from those different streams of income, where is the group economics? That's what I'm talking about. Where is the group economics? I want to see the first indigenous bank. You feel me? I want to see the first indigenous airport. I want to see the first indigenous school. You dig? That's what I'm talking about. Ask indigenous people. So maybe it's me, man. You know, like I said, maybe it's just me. And maybe I'm just thinking too far ahead. You know what I'm saying? But that's just where I'm at with it, man. That's just where I'm at with it. You know, where is the indigenous task force? Where's our indigenous police? Where's our indigenous courts? You see me, like I tell people, I'm a visionary. There is no reason an indigenous man or woman, okay, is supposed to be arrested by the corporation police, whether it may be the federal government or the state police, because you should not be in their jurisdiction. Now, if they detain you, they're supposed to call our task force or our agency and say, we have one of yours. You feel me? The Jews do it. But like I said, I can't do this alone, man. I can't do it alone. See everybody talking. Nah, I'm not about that. So it can be done. I know it can be done. It's just the people. You see, I tell folks, everybody want to be a chief, but nobody want to be an Indian. You feel me? Everybody want to be a chief, but nobody want to be an Indian. What do I mean by that is, everybody want to be the hero. I don't want to be the hero. I just want to provide solutions. All right, and come up with a plan that will work. I don't care who come up with it. I don't care who had it. I don't care. As long as we all could come together and make it work. Let us start small. Very simple. You start off with what? The first indigenous, community center. It could start somewhere. Build one. And then we build another. Then another. Now you have indigenous children coming to learn about their culture, their roots, who they are. Even if at least most of the culture is gone, at least let them know they're indigenous and what it means. Then our own indigenous, public record. Now we are forcing the corporation to acknowledge that anytime an indigenous man or woman sign or file something on the indigenous public record, that stands as law. Come on, man. Our first indigenous task force, where indigenous people go around and police our own community. And the police got to report to them. Not we report to the police. No. This is our communities. Our first indigenous judicial court. And that's the highest court of the land. because that's the original people. So therefore, their court now, our court has jurisdiction over their courts. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that. But if enough people, enough indigenous people come together, instead of everybody want to be the lone ranger, then we could get it done. It's too many egos. You feel me? Man, I'm just saying, man, it's just so many things that, we could do. But again, everybody want to be competing with everybody. They got the same nigger mentality, the crab in the barrel mentality. Oh, you know what? Is Chief Kalinago doing it? I don't like Chief Kalinago, so I'm not going to support it. Or you know what? Is that person doing it? Oh, I'm not going to support them because they're the ones doing it. Come on, man. Nah, that type of thinking and that type of mindset is not going to get anybody anywhere. And there are people who may not look like you that will support your movement. It doesn't mean that you are giving up control of it. No, that's not what it means. It means that just people are supporting something righteous. Everybody's tired of being controlled. So I keep telling people, stop making this a black and a white thing. It ain't got nothing to do with that. But it doesn't mean as indigenous people, we cannot stand up as who we are. That's not what I'm saying. Because I'm saying it's not black and white, it still doesn't change the fact we are indigenous. Come on, man. And for me, that's why, you know what? I keep my circle small. I really keep my circle small because, it just gets so challenging and overwhelming. And sometimes you have to slow down. You know what I mean? You have to slow down and just don't lose yourself in the process. You know what I mean? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I tell people, I'm helping people bring in an extra $2,000 every month, an extra $3,500 every month into their household. And I'm asking them, just hold on to that money and let it build and build. So we can come together and open up one community at a time. One community at a time. That's it. It can be done. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. All the banks around now, the majority of them are closed physically because they're doing what they are doing, right? So that means everybody got to wait on them to do them. But when you have your own, nobody get to control your own. You get to control your own. All right? That's just all I'm just saying. So with that being said, just to kind of recap, because we're about 58 minutes, right? I started off talking about the Cash App. I'm not telling you don't use your Cash App. That's not what it means. You see what I'm saying? I'm not telling you don't use your Cash App. That's not what it means. Cash App is still working just fine. However, when there's a discrepancy in a transaction, whether you are receiving or you are sending, and then you have to go through a verification process. All I'm just saying, be very mindful and don't volunteer your bank information. Okay? Because that's not Cash App, especially if it's somebody that you could talk to on the phone. Cash App doesn't have a number or a customer service that you could talk to somebody. They don't have that. And I just showed you how you could take, how we, the people, could take care of this situation. We get in touch with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and open up a formal complaint and let them know it's the people demand that Cash App, due to a high fraud alert, that the people demand Cash App have a customer service that you could speak to somebody, a representative. You see what I'm saying? I guarantee you, if enough people from this call go ahead and do that, be proactive. Don't wait for life to happen to you. That will change in less than 30 days. I guarantee you that. Put me to the test. Prove me wrong. So that's number one. Secondly, okay, it's time that we start creating our own systems. It's time. It's been time. But we need honorable people. We need people when they say they're going to do things, they're going to do it. We need people that's trustworthy, people that's in honor, because this is serious business. It is serious business, and people's lives are at stake. So when the corporation shut down, it doesn't mean that we have to shut down, because we got our own communities. You feel me? We got to have indigenous police, indigenous courts. You got to have all that. There is no reason why child care services should come into any man or woman who is indigenous home and take indigenous children. That's called child trafficking. That's kidnapping. But a lot of you don't know that, because you are still tied up and caught up in their system. But like I said before, don't get out of the beast if you can't take care of yourself. So I'm not, you see me, I tell people I'm a realist. I cannot take care of you, so I'm not going to ask you to quit your job. I cannot take care of your children, so I'm not going to ask you to stop getting your food stamps, even if the government is cutting that off. All I'm just saying is, start positioning yourself. Start positioning yourself. Because I know there are a lot of organizations out there telling people, oh, well, you don't need a driver's license. Oh, you don't need this and you don't need that. But when you get arrested, ain't nobody showing up. The truth of the matter is, they are right. You don't need that unless you're doing commerce. Everyone has a right to travel. But if you cannot stand on your own, and when you do get arrested, then all of a sudden the same people who gave you that advice, they're not there to assist you, or at least write a few letters to let them know that you're not alone, then all I'm just saying is be very mindful. Don't just be on YouTube and the internet and Facebook doing things people are doing. And that's why I tell people I'm a realist. I don't want to put people in situations that they cannot handle and talk about, oh, well, Chief Kalanago said so. No, I didn't tell you that. All I'm just saying is position yourself. Get your affairs in order before you detach from the system. Okay? Have a solution. Have a base that you know you have some type of income coming in, where you don't have to depend on the government. You feel me? Have a cushion. Then you could start making these moves. Take yourself gradually off the breast of the government. It's just like a baby. Why do you think they call you minorities and minors? It's not because you are few in number. No, they're calling you that because of your state of mind. You are still childish, and children need parents. That's why the government is still your mommy and daddy. But you have to wean yourself off of mama's breast slowly but surely. How many of you that are grown and still sucking your mama's breast? Hopefully none of y'all. So why are you still sucking the breast of the government? It's the same thing. So when they do what they do, they feel that it's justified because they are taking care of you. You are their children. But when you start weaning yourself off gradually, okay, you start creating situations where you could take care of yourself. And I'm not talking about going to sell drugs into your neighborhood. Don't build yourself by destroying your own. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about going and start robbing elders and people in your neighborhood. That's not what I'm talking about. We are living in a digital age where people are staying home and becoming thousandaires and millionaires and even billionaires. Get creative. Become innovative. Be proactive. Create many different streams of income. Before you know it, you're making 10, 15 grand a month. And then you come together with the like minds. Okay, you know what? Let's open up our first indigenous community center. Our first indigenous school. That's a step. An indigenous library. You know what I'm saying? An indigenous museum. Then you start indigenous task force. You come up with the bylaws. You come up with the vision, the mission statement. Indigenous people protecting their own. The police the corporation police cannot force you to let you take care of them. It's a contract. And you could accept their service conditionally. We accept your service conditionally. If there's a problem that we need you, we'll let you know. But always handle your situations first. You feel me? So all I'm just saying is, man, you know what? I'm just thinking ahead. I've always been thinking ahead. I've always been a visionary. The challenge is finding the people. And it's a challenge. I'm not saying it's impossible. The challenge is finding the people with the right mindset. People that are going to be there. People that are going to do the things they say they're going to do. That is the challenge. People that are dedicated, committed. Trust me, 20 people on 5 acres could start this off. 20 people on 5 acres could set it off. It's like building little colonies. How do you think that, the system took over? They built colonies. All you have to do is reverse the game, man. That's it. Get little spurts of land and build little colonies in different parts all over the country. Before you know it, you like ants. Have all these colonies all over the different place. Indigenous colonies. I mean, it ain't got to be called that. I'm just giving you an idea. Come on, man. That's how it was done. By fractionalizing the land. We have to do the same thing. You see, everybody's waiting for this Big Bang theory, this Big Bang movement. No, it's not going to happen like that because everybody's not on the same page. Everybody's not going to get together and sing Kumbaya. So stop waiting for the Big Bang where all the indigenous people are just going to wake up one time. No. Do it 10 at a time, 20 at a time. And before you know it, it's millions of indigenous people all over the country, all over the Americas doing the same thing. Tell me how we're going to lose. I'm just saying, man. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I guess I'm too much of a visionary, like I said. But I know I'm not going to live my life, being a victim. I'm not going to do that. I'm a victor, and I'm always going to strive and always going to shine. All right. And I'm going to live this on my terms, meaning that I'm not going to keep putting myself in a position where a corporation is going to rule my life. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I'm a living man. I'm not going to allow a dead entity to control every facet of my life. I'm not going to do that. Period. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your continuation. Hey, peace and love, Brother Creek. Enjoy the rest of your continuation. And this is possible. It is possible. Like I told y'all before, I could guarantee you to show you how to bring in an extra $2,000 into your home every single month. Okay, that's $500 a week guaranteed. I could also show you how to bring in $3,500 up to $3,500 every single month as an individual in your home every single month, and you don't have to wait for a stimulus check. Okay, if it's 2 of you in the household, I can show you how to bring in $7,000 every single month, up to $7,000, up to $7,000 every single month into your household. I could show you how to do that, guaranteed. As just people in general, whether you're indigenous or not, I don't care who you are. If you need an opportunity that will allow you, okay, to put your mind at ease, then I got it. I got it. Okay. So, with that being said, I mean, like I said, Brother Creek, man, I tell people I can't force them to use the information. I cannot force anybody to make their lives better than what they want for themselves. I'm only here, like I said, I'm solution based. And I'm only here to provide solutions. Yes, I will point out the problem, but I am one of the people I know for a fact that's on YouTube and social media that's always giving solutions. You feel what I'm saying? Always. That's always giving solutions, and solutions that work. Guaranteed facts. Because like I said, I have proof in my email. Guaranteed facts. And I'm not the only one. I've showed other people how to do it. Okay? Use the indigenous ID to travel. Now, please do not flood my email and ask me those questions. You know, I'm on a different mission right now. I'm building wealth. So please don't email me and ask me about that right now. Right now, it's about building the wealth, because that's how you're going to change the game. I want to see an indigenous airline. I want to see an indigenous airport. That's where my vision is at right now. You feel me? I want to see indigenous banks. I'm not black. I don't want no black bank. I want indigenous banks. You feel me? That's where I'm at. So I'm talking about building wealth. That's it. Period. All right. So with that being said, anyone who's interested in linking up, like I said, with the information, guaranteed I could show you once again as an individual in your home, show you how to bring in at least $3,500 for the least. I could show you how to bring up to $3,500 into your home every single month. Okay, I could show you that, and that's guaranteed. Okay, so with that being said, my email is in the link below. If it's not, I will put it in there. And be very mindful of the Cash App thing. Don't forget the challenge, the Cash App challenge. Call the FTC and make sure that we demand that they have, okay, they have customer service that could speak to somebody, period. And that's how you resolve that situation. Okay, so you guys enjoy the rest of your continuation. Wherever you at, be safe, take care of each other. And for those of you who are going to hit me up, I will send you the information, and I'll see you guys at the top, because the bottom is too crowded. Peace and love to each and every one of you. I'm out.